Hello and welcome to Nightly Scroll. I think we're early tonight. According to my clock out here, we are early. It is not yet 6 o'clock, so
You're
hope
welcome.
everyone's ready. Andy's clock inside in the control room over there is a little early. So, anyway. Thank you all for joining us. Happy Wednesday. If you are watching on X or on Facebook, come on over to rumble.com/Hayley. That'll bring you to the Bongino Report channel where you can watch Nightly Scroll live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time in full. If you're watching on X or on Facebook, you're just going to get a little bit. And then if you want the full thing, you want scrolling time, all the goodness, you're going to have to come and watch on Rumble. Of course, if you can't catch us live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your shows, or watch on Rumble at your leisure. What do we have tonight on the scroll? Well, our constitutional republic, our elections as we know them, are under attack. The Democrats say it's Republicans' fault, but I am going to lay out just some of the reasons why they are projecting. Also, RFK Jr.'s wife, Cheryl Hines, gives the ladies of The View a much-needed reality check. Also, Christianity is surging in America, especially among young people, and I'll tell you one of the lesser-known reasons for it, at least what I think. Also, the Victoria's Secret fashion show is back tonight with trans and body-positive models and influencers when everyone is just asking for a return to normalcy and greatness. Everyone, get ready for Nightly Scroll. About our democracy. Do not believe them for 1 second. They are lying through their teeth. They're liars. They are concocting a multi-pronged plan to usurp our election process. They've done it before, and they're going to do it again. And Barack Obama's attempts to influence elections and essentially set up a Democratic dynasty are still ongoing. We already know it is confirmed via declassified documents that Obama, then president, sitting President Obama, directed the Russia hoax, which we knew, right? We all knew that, especially if you watched Dan Bongino's show. We've already known this for years, right? But now it is confirmed. And that means that at the highest levels of the Democrat Party, the then president of the United States used his presidential power to attempt to influence the outcome of an election. That was in 2016. Then they did it in 2020 with the censorship of the Hunter Biden laptop story as well. And as we know, there are polls that were conducted that said, if you knew about the Hunter Biden laptop story before the election, would you have changed your vote? And people said yes. And the difference would have put Donald J. Trump in the office. So we already know that they have been successful in their attempts to usurp the election process and change it and rig the outcome based on what they want for the future of this country. They are dirty. They play dirty. So here is Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, just a month ago, laying out how Barack Obama was at the center of the Russia hoax. Listen to this.
We look at where we are now. Over the last several weeks, we've declassified and released documents that exposed how President Obama and leaders in the intelligence community knowingly manufactured a false intelligence document after the 2016 election was done, after the American people said, no, we want Donald Trump to go and be our commander-in-chief, not Hillary Clinton. And this manufactured document alleged that Russia aspired to help President Trump win the election with the aim of undermining his presidency and usurping the will and the voices of the American people who sent Trump to the White House.
Yeah. But will Obama go to jail? Let's ask the chat. Do you think that Barack Obama would ever see the inside of a jail cell? As much as we would like to see it, I personally don't think so. You can let me know. Someone says Obama to the slammer. Oh, that was you guys. I'm like, wait, so what? People want him to be arrested, but the resounding answers that I'm seeing are no, nope. Yeah. I predict he will not go to jail. He will never be held accountable. However, with the Republican control of the White House, the House and the Senate and the Supreme Court, I say give the Democrats a taste of their own medicine. When they go low, they set the standard. They set the precedent. They carried out 2 impeachments. They manipulated big tech and the media to hide narratives and push others. They concocted letters written by intelligence officials to push their narrative. They weaponized the justice system, all to get Trump. And they didn't get him. They didn't succeed. And if Republicans go after Obama, they won't succeed either. But I think give them the hell that they gave Trump in the meantime. And then when they complain, we can point to their behavior over the last 10 years and say, thank you for writing the blueprint. We will take it from here, and I hope that they are ready to take what they have been dishing out. And Democrats continue, by the way, to undermine our elections by allowing non-citizens to vote. So this has been going viral now on X. This is where I saw it. Now, election officials in Minnesota are admitting on the record in a hearing that illegal aliens can vote in Minnesota. So back in 2023, Minnesota Governor Tampon Tim signed the Driver's License for All Act. And then yesterday, an election official confirmed all of this. So watch this.
It's done.
A packed room at the St. Paul Armory erupted after the governor's signature made driver's license for all the law of the land.
So we give driver's licenses to anyone here. You don't have to be a citizen. You don't have to, which is a photo ID. So if someone comes in, they register, they have the driver's license, but they have an incorrect social or no social or whatever. So then they become incomplete. But if they walk in to vote with their driver's license, does that make them all of a sudden now okay?
Mr. Linnell.
Madam Chair, so the designation on the roster for someone whose registration had been incomplete, if they present the election judge with that acceptable identification document, that would clear the challenge from the roster and they would be permitted to cast a ballot.
Mr. Anderson.
Well, okay, there's your problem, potentially. So, thank you.
So just to clarify, someone who is not a citizen but presents a driver's license at that point in the process could be permitted to vote.
Madam Chair, at the time of registration, as well as at the time of submitting a ballot, every voter is signing the attestation affirming their eligibility to vote, including that they meet all eligibility requirements, that they are a U.S. citizen.
Right, but they're not checking it, right? They are not checking this. So it doesn't matter that they're supposed to be a citizen. This is just like the honor system where we're just supposed to believe that, you know, they're being honorable and they're following the rule of law, which we know illegal aliens don't do. And if I was living here, I would want to vote. And clearly they want to live this American dream. They just want to take shortcuts and they want to do it the wrong way. So I wouldn't put it past these people to not follow the rules so that they get to vote for the same candidates that let them walk across the southern border anyway. Of course, this is the pipeline. Democrats let them in. They vote for Democrats. This is like one hand washes the other. This is their little handshake. And so when an illegal alien gets a photo ID, and then in Minnesota, all you need is a photo ID to vote, guess what? Illegal aliens are going to vote. And apparently there are 81,000 people living in Minnesota illegally. I'm not saying that all 81,000 illegal aliens in Minnesota voted, but they could. And that makes a huge difference. And here is Gavin Newsom insinuating the same thing. Watch this.
In LA, do you think ICE is not going to show up around voting and polling booths to chill participation? You know that. The National Guard, you know that. Everybody knows what's at stake, so we have to put a stake in the ground and do things differently.
He's saying the quiet part out loud. He's saying the quiet part out loud. He's literally saying that ICE is going to be outside polling booths and that's going to deter people from voting. Why? Because you're supposed to be a citizen to vote. So anyone who's a citizen who's going to vote is not going to be deterred by ICE. Me personally, if I showed up to a voting booth my polling location on election day and I saw law enforcement or if I saw ICE agents or anything like that, what's it to me? I don't care. All I would say is, hope you're having a nice day. Hey, officer, thank you. That's all I would say. And as a citizen, I would feel better seeing them there, knowing that if there are illegal aliens who are attempting to vote in our elections, they should be nabbed right then and there. But isn't it interesting that Gavin Newsom is using this rhetoric as like fear-mongering tactics? Like, ICE is going to prevent people from voting. ICE would be preventing the wrong people from voting. Again, law-abiding citizens are not afraid of law enforcement. And this is why the government is shut down, by the way, over health care for illegal aliens, because Democrats cannot piss off their illegal supporters. That's what this is all about. And now, California Governor Gavin Newsom and former President Barack Obama are teaming up to influence elections in California. Governor Gavin Newsom, he is now urging all Californians to vote in favor of Prop 50, which is a ballot measure that would replace California's independent redistricting system with a legislature-approved map that would eliminate several Republican-held congressional districts. So he posted on X, listen to Obama. Literally, that's all he wrote on X. Listen to Obama. Let's listen.
California, the whole nation is counting on you. Democracy is on the ballot November 4th. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years. With Prop 50, you can stop Republicans in their tracks. Prop 50 puts our elections back on a level playing field, preserves independent redistricting over the long term, and lets the people decide. Return your ballot today. Vote yes on 50.
So Barack Obama, and in that ad, it says that Republicans are going to try to rig the midterm election. They are blaming all of this on us. Meanwhile, this is what they're doing. They're projecting. This is what they do. This is what they do. They talk about threats to our democracy and saving our country. All the while, they're undermining the election process to put non-citizens ahead of citizens. And they want to influence the system to benefit them. That is un-American. That is the real threat to our democracy. Because when they get away with this, and the next time a Democrat is in the Oval Office, they can reopen the border. They can undo everything that President Trump did. The border will be wide open again, and they can import tens of millions of new voters, like they did during the Biden administration. And then you can expect that the progressive policies of Gavin Newsom, Zohran Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, AOC, and others will become a reality nationwide. Because in Minnesota, in California, and other blue states, you are going to see these protections for illegal aliens, whether it's for healthcare, for voting rights, or whatever. They tie a nice little pretty bow on it. They rebrand it as like healthcare and rights and all these things. Like they try to make it seem like they're these good bleeding heart people that are just, these are basic human rights for people. And then this is when they call us, racist and homophobic and xenophobic and whatever, right? Then they call us all the names just because we want people to follow the rule of law. So let this all serve as a reminder to pay attention locally, to get involved, and to vote like the future of our country depends on it, because it does. And Democrats have gone completely squirrely, by the way, over questions about who funds them, specifically AIPAC. Now, I want to preface this by saying it's not just a Democrat issue. A lot of our government officials on both sides of the aisle take money from AIPAC and other groups, and they should be able to answer questions about whether or not they are bought and paid for. They are paid for. They are bought and paid for, so they should be able to answer by whom. So here is Gavin Newsom admitting that he wasn't prepared to answer this question because nobody ever asks him it. Watch this.
AIPAC. I will not vote for a candidate that takes $1 from AIPAC.
It's interesting. It's interesting. I haven't thought about AIPAC. And it's interesting. You're like the first to bring up AIPAC in years, which is interesting. Why did I say that? Not relevant to my day-to-day life.
Okay.
Which is just interesting.
Listen.
It's interesting you say that. JPAC perhaps more, but APAC less and less.
Okay. Fair enough.
Which is just interesting.
What's interesting about it?
That it's just interesting as you bring up APAC that it hasn't been part of. I'm just reflecting quite openly and honestly. Hasn't been part of the day-to-day.
Yeah. The only reason.
Interesting. It's interesting. It's just interesting. It's just interesting that you asked that question. He's like deflecting and trying to think of maybe an answer in his head. But if we were to play a drinking game and I said, take a shot every time Gavin Newsom says interesting, every time Gavin Newsom deflects from answering this question, we would need our stomachs pumped. We would be in the hospital. It's interesting. It's interesting. It surely is interesting. But, you know, Democrats are also asking these questions because it's stemming from a pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel place. That's where their constituency is. So they don't want their Democratic leaders taking money from Israeli groups. Whereas I think it's concerning if any politician takes money from a foreign group or a group with foreign interests. But this is a very far left podcaster, Jennifer Welch of the I Had It podcast, asking this question to Cory Booker. Watch him also dance around answering it. Watch this.
I'm one of a handful of people that don't take corporate PAC money. I don't understand my Democratic
What
Party.
about APAC money? You take APAC money, don't you?
A minuscule percentage of my resources come from
I read it's like 800,000.
Yeah, but that's a lifetime number of raising tens of millions of dollars. Let me give you the right stat. The majority of my money comes from small dollar contributions. My last report, I think 76% of it came from people that gave $25 or less. Again, we could pick at each other, or we could do what we need to be doing right now, is joining in a chorus of conviction to condemn it. And again, I'm a child of civil rights activists. You think Malcolm X and Martin Luther King agreed on everything? No. But when it came to the fight, they joined together and created a movement that was successful. And that's really what my focus is. And as the only person in the caucus that lives in a low-income Black and brown neighborhood below the poverty line. I still remember when some progressives from the suburbs came down to protest me, and they were literally chased away by my neighbors.
Talking about?
Because we are in an urgency. Every day I see it. We are in an urgency where real people are getting hurt. When I go up and down in New Jersey, they don't care about the fact that I took 1% of my money from some group. They care about, what are you doing to restore my health care?
Interesting. First of all, he said he's a child civil rights activist. I'm not sure what that has to do with taking money from AIPAC. Then, of course, he has to inject, the Black and brown community. This is supposed to absolve him from anything, right? If he says that he's for the Black and brown community, that's supposed to get Democrats to shut up. This is supposed to be a friendly interview. So he's trying to throw all the buzzwords at them. Like, I'm for the minority community. Like, don't ask me any questions about the minuscule money that I take. That minuscule amount being $800,000. It's just funny. I mean, I'm laughing watching because I wasn't expecting this podcast to ask hard questions. I have to give credit where credit is due. They are very far right. You would think, and I'm sure Cory Booker probably thought, well, this is going to be a friendly interview. They're going to ask me, they're going to just lob me questions, softball questions, and I'm going to hit all of them out of the park. And he didn't. So something to look at. I like seeing Cory Booker and Gavin Newsom all squirrely, just asking or trying to answer questions that are asked of them. Katie Porter. So Katie Porter in California, she's been in the news lately because she's been caught on hot mic and all these videos of her just being a total asshole to her staffers and to reporters, refusing to answer questions. And she was in another interview recently where she was asked about these horrific hot mic moments that she's been caught on. And the reporter asks her, are we going to see any more things come out? Here's what she had to say.
Should California voters feel confident that there aren't any more Katie Porter videos out there?
Well, what I know is that I could have done better in those moments. I'm going to be focused on earning their votes and earning their trust. That's true in every election. I've only ever had tough elections. So I'm absolutely aware that I'm going to have to continue to show them. I'm going to have to answer every question. I'm glad I got to continue that interview and finish that interview and answer all her questions. And that's what I'm going to continue to do, to show Californians not only that I understand their problems, but that I have the will and the strength of character to actually get something done about them.
But not just the CBS interview, the interview with the staffer. Can voters be confident that there won't be another one of those videos that's going to come to light?
What I do know is that I could have done better in that situation.
But that's not a no. So is there potentially another video that we're going to see?
Nikki, I'm going to be honest with you. I know that video, and that video was several years ago, as you know, and I apologize to the staffer. That's super important to me, and will continue to try to hold myself to do better. That's what I can promise.
But not that there's not going to be any more videos, because that's what people are wondering. Are we going to see something else like that?
I can tell you what I've told you, which is that I am taking responsibility for this situation, and I'm also not going to back down from fighting back for California, from being tough.
It's not a no. It's not a no.
You
So
know
that
there
means-
are.
Of course there are. And I think if anyone has a video of Katie Porter being an asshole, release it. Release it. I want to see it. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. And not only that, I mean, I'm not just saying this because I'm a podcast host and I'll play the videos on the show and we'll make fun of her, but the voters in California deserve to know. They've also seen enough, I think. But unfortunately, I think a lot of voters in California will vote for anyone if there's a D next to their name. They'll vote for anyone if they're blue. The vote blue no matter who. They'll just vote for anyone, right? So even if it is Katie Porter, who has demonstrated how disgusting she is to people around her, how she refuses to answer questions, that should be enough for California voters, but it probably won't be. So anyway, if you have a video of Katie Porter, please, we would all love to see it. We really, really would. All right, taking a quick break to tell you about Bond Charge. Are you looking for a natural way to rejuvenate your skin and boost your wellness? Well, meet Bond Charge, a holistic wellness brand with products designed to help optimize your life. And my favorite is the Bond Charge Red Light Face Mask. I started using it after noticing breakouts. You know, I struggle with this, fine lines and wrinkles, and wow, what a difference. It helps me combat those acne marks and scars, the wrinkles. It actually helps people with eczema, migraines, even jaw soreness and razor burn. So I use it for just 15 minutes a day. You can set the timer yourself. So if you don't even have 15 minutes, it could be shorter. It could be 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you have time for. You can use it while you're watching TV, while you're reading. It is lightweight. You can even walk around with it. So if you want to strap it on your head and do things around the house, you can do that. So it's easy to get this in your schedule. It doesn't get hot, and it combines both near infrared and red light to help boost collagen and elastin production. Unlike other brands, Bond Charge removes sleep-disturbing blue and green light. And of course, you know me, I get a ton of blue light on this thing and on this thing and on this thing. So I need all the red light I can get. So it has 0 EMF radiation, 0 flicker, and it has a sleek design plus a 1-year warranty. My skin is clearer, smoother, glowing. I feel confident again. Bond Charge ships worldwide, offers easy returns, and their products are HSA, FSA eligible. Go to bondcharge.com and use code SCROLL to save $15. That is BONCHARGE.com, code SCROLL for 15% off. Also want to tell you about Blackout. This is how I start my morning. I know a lot of you start your morning with coffee. If you need that caffeine fix fast in the morning, their coffee pods are a total game changer. These aren't your average grocery store pods. Blackout pods are packed with fresh roasted, bold coffee made right here in Florida. And they work with those single serve pod brewers. So yes, it is fast, it is easy, and it is actually delicious. I love all of their flavors. It's not bitter. It's not stale, so you just pop in one of these little pods and boom, you've got a strong, smooth cup of coffee in just seconds. So if you're racing out the door, you're juggling kids, jumping into back-to-back calls, Blackout is your new morning lifesaver. And the best part is they ship nationwide, so you don't have to live in Florida to get Florida fresh coffee. You can get it at your door in just days. Head to blackoutcoffee.com/scroll or use code SCROLL at checkout for 20% off your first order. All right, so HHS Secretary RFK Jr., his wife, Cheryl Hines, was on The View, and she dropped this truth bomb. They weren't expecting this. Listen.
The problem, respectfully, is that your husband is the least qualified Department of Health and Human Services head that we've had in history.
I do not.
I think that's a very dangerous.
Why is he less qualified than an economist?
I think
How is that
he
possible?
is less
He has
qualified.
spent his career studying toxins, studying people's health, fighting for one guy who was using Roundup for his job.
He has also spread a lot of misinformation, a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion, and I think it's just a very dangerous thing. And I say it with the utmost respect.
Some of it's good and some of it's not. That's the point.
Listen, we all have different views here.
Yes.
And when you say, misinformation, disinformation, we could go back to COVID when...
He's connecting circumcision to autism.
May I finish?
Please.
When Fauci people were saying when you get the vaccine, you cannot transmit COVID. It will stop COVID. And that was disinformation, misinformation.
We were also still learning about it. It was a novel virus we've never encountered before.
Right.
Because now the doctors will acknowledge that you
And Dr.
can't.
Fauci has a medical
At the time, they were
degree.
censoring Bobby because Bobby said, where's the science to show us this? And there wasn't any. But people attacked him and said, you're wrong. So it's like, let's take a step back. I know that's your opinion, and that's okay.
So Sunny Hostin said that RFK Jr. was less qualified, or the least qualified HHS secretary we've ever had. Then Cheryl said, hold on. And then Sunny Hostin said, I think he is less qualified. Okay. So there's a difference here. There's a difference between saying he is and I think he is. And of course, the audience at The View just starts clapping right away. Sunny Hostin says whatever, and the clapping seals they start, jumping at her defense. Then, of course, she says, I say all this with the utmost respect. F out of here with that. I mean, seriously. The utmost respect? You literally are disrespecting her husband to her face and then say, this is like when people say no offense, like you look really fat in that shirt. Okay, well, that doesn't really remove the offense. So I say this with utmost respect. Then I thought it was very interesting that Alyssa Farah Griffin said, well, we were just still learning about the COVID vaccine at that point because Sunny Hostin starts bringing up, well, your husband, RFK Jr., is pushing misinformation. He's pushing misinformation about autism. And Cheryl Hines, rightfully so, starts to point out the fact that people who are highly qualified, like Dr. Fauci, according to people like The View hosts and people on the left, they think that Dr. Fauci is very qualified because he's a doctor and he's been in these positions in 3-letter agencies and 4-letter agencies and whatever for, decades. They think that he's untouchable. And Cheryl Hines points out, well, no, he was completely wrong about the vaccine. He said that it wasn't going to transmit the disease if you got the vaccine. We realized that wasn't true. Then they said, well, the efficacy is going to wane. And then, it all, the goalpost just kept moving. So then Alyssa Farah Griffin says, well, we were just learning about COVID then. So she is taking all of the onus off of the doctors and experts that lied to us. So then why does that logic still not apply to autism? We are still learning about autism as well. And if you care about science, these people claim to care about the science and following the experts. If you know anything about science, it's evolving. You test theories. You get new information, new studies, new information coming to light about the COVID-19 vaccine or autism. So why doesn't HHS Secretary RFK Jr. get the same grace that the ladies of The View were so quick to give Dr. Fauci? Also, when Sunny Hostin says your husband is the least qualified, right? She made that claim. Only three HHS secretaries in our nation's history have been medical doctors out of 28. So RFK Jr. is, he's not a doctor, but neither were most of the HHS secretaries. It's just crazy that they're going to say that you need to do this when they didn't say that about Obama's HHS secretary, who was an economist, and others, right? There were only 3. So Louis Sullivan was a physician who served as the HHS secretary in the 80s and 90s. Tommy Thompson, a physician who served in the early 2000s. And Kathleen Sebelius, who served from 2009 to 2014. So she had a medical degree also. So those are the only three. So if Sunny Hostin or any of these women on The View are going to call this out, at least know the facts behind it. And I'm so glad that Cheryl was able to defend this flawed line of questioning with the truth. Also on The View, I was going to cover this earlier in the week and then just didn't get to it. But Alyssa Farah Griffin, she said that, if President Trump gets a ceasefire deal done and the hostages released, she'll wear a MAGA hat on the show. Don't take it from me. Take it from her.
My point when I say I'm not going to be apocalyptic, it's not changing a tune. It's not making every single thing a 5-alarm fire. Yeah. If he does good, if he gets the Israeli hostages out, I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on the show and say, thank you for doing it. Yeah. She'll knock it right off my head. But you have to be able to cheer for wins when they happen and then call out relentlessly the wrongdoing. Well,
did you hear Ana Navarro say, don't do that, really quiet under her breath? Don't do that. So has Alyssa Farah Griffin worn the MAGA hat on the show today, yesterday? No, she has not. But now President Trump, I saw that Don Jr. Was putting this at the top of the list. He said, I'm going to let people at the top know about this, assuming he's talking about his father. And then Trump was asked about it by reporters. Listen to this.
Alyssa Farah, she is one of the hosts on ABC's show The View. She said a while back, I'll quote, "If Trump gets the Israeli hostages out, I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on this show and say thank you for doing it." Your response?
Well, did she put the hat on?
Well, she hasn't got the hat yet.
Who is it? Which one?
Alyssa Farah.
Well, she used to work for me. So she used to work here. I'll tell you about Alyssa. She worked here. She gave me the most beautiful letter when, the administration, the time came up, the election was rigged, I left. She gave me the most beautiful letter you've ever seen. I was a great president. What a great job. Some of the letters have been quoted. This is Alyssa, who I never thought was very outstanding. I figured she would not make it. And she didn't have a big role here either. And then we had January 6th, and she left after that or before that. But she gave me the most beautiful letters. And then even months after she left, and while we weren't here any longer, she sent another letter, glowing letter, beautiful letter. And then she got hired by The View, and they gave her a couple of bucks, and she changed her view very quickly. I never thought she'd make it. Never thought she had what it took in any way. You know what that means. But she's on The View. But it just shows what a fraud The View is, because this woman gave me letters and statements. She said I was the greatest president in her lifetime. Now, she's not that old, so I didn't consider it a great compliment, but I've had better.
Can we send her a hat?
Well, recently I've had the greatest president of them all. I like that much better.
I think President Trump, and he's been known to do this, he's been known to send Trump 2028 hats to his enemies. Not saying that Alyssa Farah Griffin is his enemy, but he sent them to Gavin Newsom. I think that Trump needs to send Alyssa Farah Griffin not just one, but multiple Trump 2028 hats and demand that she wears it on The View. I mean, she said that she was going to. So, pay up. Pay up, Alyssa. Put the hat on. Also, it's just so interesting. She worked for this man, and according to President Trump, liked him so much that she wrote him glowing letters. It's interesting that she didn't have such a huge role in the Trump 1 administration. Then, of course, Biden was elected, and then she was offered this position on The View, where, of course, they don't want anyone to be super MAGA. They do need a Republican or two to, say that they're bipartisan or whatever. But I think she knew that she didn't have a huge role in Trump 1. I think it was popular amongst Democrats and people in the media to be anti-Trump after January 6th. So she thought, well, this is my moment. I can just be anti-Trump. I can be a never Trumper Republican, and I can play that role on The View. And she is doing it. She is doing it for a paycheck. This is someone who used to write letters to President Trump, glowing letters about how much she respected him and liked working for him. That doesn't change overnight. That doesn't change because of something like January 6th. It just doesn't. But I think a paycheck might make her change her mind, and I think that's what we're seeing here. Also, I want to play this video from Fox earlier. Guy sent this to me about how Christianity is up among young people across the board, and it has been up for a few years now. And I think it's pretty cool. So listen to this.
A Christian revival across the country. Bible sales increasing over 40% since 2022. Religion app downloads surging nearly 80%. That increase since 2019. And Christian music Spotify streams up 50% from 2019. Our next...
Interesting, right? Because this has been up since 2019 in some of those cases and since 2022 in others. And, you're trying to think about this going up and what was happening at these times. And, in 2022, this is after the pandemic, when Democrat leaders and governors shut down all these churches and said, you can't worship. They closed places of worship. And I think that really pissed people off. And a lot of people woke up to the fact that they do need these places of worship. They should have been open. And I think it maybe lit a fire under some people's behinds to go get in church and to open their Bibles. Because a lot of people, maybe they couldn't go to church during the pandemic, but you can open your Bible at home. You can download these apps. They were up 80%. I know I have the Bible app on my phone, and when I don't read my Bible, I know I have it on my phone. So if I'm traveling or whatever, I love having the Bible on my phone. I love having that app. There are also another, the prayer app that's...
Mark Wahlberg is Hallow.
Exactly. The Hallow app and the prayer app. There are all these apps that people can fall asleep listening to Bible stories. It's very accessible now. It's never been more accessible. And I think a lot of people were saying after this had come out, this has a lot to do with Charlie Kirk as well. And I think that's absolutely correct. Charlie Kirk was evangelizing on college campuses. He wasn't just telling people the truth about trans ideology. I mean, he was talking about the truth of the Bible. And that's huge amongst young people. That is very influential. And I think a lot of people in the world of influencers, we're seeing a lot of Christian influencers rise up in popularity. And I think social media gets a bad reputation because a lot of people, it's lazy, I think, actually, to blame social media on these societal evils. There is good and evil in this world. There is good and evil in society, but it's the people that are evil. And you can use social media to further those demonic influences, or you can also use social media for good. And that's what I have been seeing even more than the demonic stuff. When I go on social media, a lot of these algorithms are very intuitive now. They know what you want to see. I see so much Christian and Catholic content. They know that this is what I want to see. And that is what is pushed on my For You page. People like to say, oh my gosh, TikTok is evil. I am Catholic and I see top 10 podcasts for Christian girls in their 20s and 30s. I see, what's his name? Father, why am I forgetting it? Father Mike Schmidt? Mike Schmidt. And he does the Bible in a Year podcast. That is super popular. It has become so accessible just in terms of apps and things like that, but also to learn. Learning about Christianity has become so easy. So maybe someone sees a video of Charlie Kirk and he's talking about his faith, or Allie Beth Stuckey on Jubilee. Did you see that whole exchange? Allie Beth Stuckey was defending the Bible.
The debate thing, right? Where she gets to debate liberal Christians.
She was defending her pro-life stances, of course, that are rooted in her faith and in the Bible. And she was debating liberal Christians who were fighting her. And it's so interesting because, as we know, the devil quotes scripture. The devil knows scripture, and anyone can twist the words of the Bible and the word to push a narrative. And I think that's what we're seeing. Like, there's so many different ways to interpret the Bible. And I think it's so helpful now that on social media, you have like Father Mike Schmidt. Sorry, I keep getting this wrong. Mike Schmidt. Yes. And others. Like, I follow Catholic priests. I follow nuns on social media. I follow Christian influencers on social media. They talk about where to buy modest clothes and how to start veiling at church if you want to start veiling. I mean, it is getting like, I am bombarded with Christian content on social media. So for anyone saying that like social media is the problem, if you use social media for good, it is the devil's worst nightmare.
We're starting to see this kind of come back into pop culture. I mean, you think of Angel Studios making movies like that. And I mean, if you watch the Grammys the last couple of years, there are major Christian artists performing at big time slots at the Grammys, like Mav City Music and Brandon Lake and these modern worship leaders. Brandon Lake played at Charlie's funeral. And so like they're playing like at the Grammys. Mark Wahlberg, other celebrity investors are investing in a Hallow. Like this is not
very cool.
It's not just grassroots, you know what I mean? I mean, this is very pop culture, to your point about all the stuff coming through social media. So this very much feels like a movement.
And I've also seen a lot of videos on social media, Christian influencers saying, I can no longer listen to secular music. I can no longer listen to pop music. The only kind of music and content that speaks to me is Christian music, religious music, and content. Podcasts, things like that. I am personally not there yet in my journey. Like, I like pop music. I like rap music. I like listening to podcasts that are not religious or anything like that. So I am not there yet. Not saying that I won't be, but I think that that's interesting to see videos of people saying, like, I don't even want to listen to any content, music or content that isn't religious.
If you look at Spotify plays too, some of these like, I guess like major echelon Christian artists are doing numbers that are better monthly than a lot of pop music acts. I mean, it really is major.
It's really, really cool. And there are also, I've seen this on social media too. Not to just like keep bringing up examples, but this just goes to show how much there is out there. There was a Christian influencer that sounds just like Sabrina Carpenter. Like, she has that same tone, the same, like, her pop music, her style of music is very similar, except all of the lyrics are very Christian. They're biblical. And the same thing with rap music. There is a Christian artist for every pop artist or rap artist out there, which I think is so cool. Like, if you did want to dip your toe into that world, like maybe you're not ready to listen to just like worship music all the time, but you can kind of dip your toe into that world by listening to pop music that is Christian music at the same time, which I think is also very cool. I love to see it. So anyway.
Shout out our local Father Marty on Rumble too.
Is he on Rumble?
He's on every Sunday homilies on Rumble.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that. I love that. So shout out Father Marty on Rumble. So this is a less religious topic that I'm moving to right now. There's really no good segue for it. But do you all know the Good Morning America drama, Amy Robach and TJ Holmes, I think his name is? They were caught in a workplace romance relationship, and it was a scandal. They ended up being ousted, let go because of their workplace romance that ended up breaking up 2 marriages because, yes, they were both married when this affair started. Another crazy thing about this story is that their spouses ended up dating each other. And I don't know the update on that. I don't know if they're still dating, but kind of a happy ending-ish.
So it's like a swap?
Yeah, they kind of like wife swapped. Do you remember that show? Justin's too young for that show. But
I remember that show. Like some rich housewife would go over to some blue collar place and then have to cook for the first time and get screamed at by the kids.
Oh, it's so funny. What was that kid? Oh my gosh. Oh, I have to find that clip and play it tomorrow. It is so funny. That wife swap clip. There's like a little fat kid. Oh my God, he's talking about like bacon and like she didn't make the bacon right. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Anyway, So now Amy Robach and TJ Holmes are engaged. They announced that on yesterday on their podcast that they have been engaged for a month now, which is interesting. Someone in the chat just said, never understood cheating. Same. I don't understand. If you don't want to be with the person that you're with, leave. Or at least don't cheat on them. If you're going to stay, don't cheat on them. You made a promise. Till death do us part. I don't get it. People are just weak, I think. Anyway, are people listening to Amy Robach and TJ Holmes on their joint podcast? This, to me, it seems like they were trying to maybe capitalize on the press that they were getting when the romance became public. But also, to the point earlier, people hate cheaters. So I feel like these are two very unpopular people. Just because they ended up, happy together and their spouses are, I guess, maybe happy together. I don't know if they're still happy together, but just because it was like a happy ending doesn't make these people any less vile. Like, why would people support cheaters in general? But I rarely want to listen to a couple do a podcast anyway. I can't think of a good, media couple.
The Obamas.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the Obamas.
Who are
do
the
a
comedians?
podcast.
Who are the comedians that do the husband and
Oh,
wife?
Tom Segura and his wife.
That
They're
one's
funny.
Yeah, that's funny, and it's mainly because the guests they get are really make that comical.
Okay, that's a good one. I think that they're very funny, but they're also comedians, so I think that makes it more enjoyable. If this is just a couple of cheaters, I don't want to listen to their podcast. Also, Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough, I think that they're weird. I feel like it's always awkward. Then there is the His and Hers podcast. You guys know them on Dear Media. They started the Dear Media company. Their name's Lauren Bostic and her husband. I forget her husband's name, but they're always digging at each other on the podcast. And it's like, are you guys fighting? Are you guys okay? I just think couple stuff is weird, joint couple podcasts. It's like a joint Instagram account or a joint email. I just think it's odd. But anyway, the Victoria's Secret fashion show is making a return. And I'm wondering, should I just get into this whole thing tomorrow after? Because the Victoria's Secret fashion show, the pink carpet starts right now. The pink carpet started at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time in New York City, and the show starts at 7. So as soon as this show is over, I'm going to watch the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Maybe I'll just wait for tomorrow. We'll have more pictures. We'll be able to go through this tomorrow. But, let me just tease this for you. Victoria's Secret, they've made some bad business decisions in the past. They have gotten rid of their bikinis. That was very popular in the 2010s. Victoria's Secret bikinis, very popular. That was the first thing that they messed up. They got rid of those. People were all mad at Victoria's Secret. Then once 2020 came, they really, really leaned in to the woke stuff. They had body positive, trans. Then they tried to do this really weird, artsy, diverse music video type runway show. It was so strange. So that flopped. Then they saw a massive dip in sales because it was horrible and you're not giving the people what they want. And they're trying, I think, to claw their way back into relevancy because they really did fall off. And I think with the resurgence of Y2K type clothing and cultural moments, they are trying to be part of that resurgence where they can kind of rebrand and kind of give an ode to their past success. And Victoria's Secret is successful because they have gorgeous women who are skinny, by the way. I want to see skinny models. So anyway, in 2020, they really leaned into the body positive thing. They've had trans models, and they are still featuring body positive and trans models. So I will watch this show, and we will get into it tomorrow. But let's get into scrolling time. AI videos. Yesterday was all AI. I have multiple videos today. Some are AI, some are not.
You're hooked now.
I'm not hooked. But when they're
You've
funny,
talked
they're
the
funny.
AI trash, and
No.
now you have fallen in the crevasse.
No, I explained this to you yesterday. I will give AI credit when it is good, it is good. When it is funny, When it is bad, it is bad. I think there is more bad than good. And I talked about this. I think AI is dangerous for news and politics, but the AI babies are a little funny. So here's an AI baby.
Look at her little face. She's so calm.
Hey, sweet girl.
Whoa, what the?
Oh my God.
She's running.
Hey, come back.
Somebody grab her.
That baby is sprinting.
I'm going.
That baby is sprinting. Wait, can you play that again? I think he said he's a her in the beginning.
Look at her little face. She's so calm.
Hey, sweet girl.
Whoa, what the?
He's a girl.
She's running.
Hey, come back.
Somebody grab her.
That baby is sprinting.
I'm going.
Who thinks of this stuff?
I don't. That thing was out of there though. I mean, that's about a 4.25 in the 40.
She was like Usain Bolt out of there. She did not want to be swaddled in there. She didn't want to be with her parents. She was out. She was ready to take on the world. That had 72 million views on TikTok. I just wanted to let you all know that had 72 million views. That's a lot. And this is AI content. Like, who's profiting off of that? I guess whoever asked the AI to make it. It's just interesting to think about. This next one is let's just say a body positive gymnast. Let's say that, to be nice.
One more big pass. Here we go. Round off, back handspring into the triple front.
Massive height.
And she opens.
The floor just gave way.
It shattered under her landing. Look at the hole. She's up. She's okay. Arms up for the salute.
An unbelievable.
I love how the AI announcers are like, she's up. We see her hand. I didn't see that. I think she was down for the count. She might have been in the basement of that building by then.
Hayley, I think she's going to have to settle for the bronze.
Oh, her hand is up.
Mainly because nobody else can go. She wrecked the ring.
But I don't think she was putting her hand up to say, I'm okay. I think her hand was just up when she took the tumble and she did not stick the landing. I mean...
Those Romanian judges are hard. I think we're solid 3.5s there.
I don't even think she can get that. I mean, yeah.
I got one more AI submission for you. This is my AI content of the week.
Amazing.
So you remember the Obama
This is a blind
library?
reaction. I remember what you said? Obama what?
The Obama library.
Yeah, I do. Ugly.
And so I took to Grok, and Grok animated the library for me.
And it's walking away. It's so weird. It does look like a robot.
Really ugly library.
I was saying, I wrote on Twitter, like, it looks prehistoric and modern at the same time. And someone said that it's postmodern. That's what the style is. But it is weird that it can look like a rock that, like an asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, and it can also look like modern architecture at the same time.
If
like
somebody painted that blue, that's a mailbox on the side of the
it's
street.
It's giving Stonehenge. You know?
Yeah, Stonehenge.
It kind of is. To your point about the mailboxes, I have seen on my drive here, people have really poor taste in mailboxes. I've seen some really, really ugly ones. One that comes to mind is a literal manatee with a baby, and the mailbox is a manatee holding its baby. And I just think, money can't buy class. That's all I'm saying.
And I mean,
like, what
at the end of
the
the day, all of that for some guy just to roll up once a day.
Alec Baldwin and run it over.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin mull it over.
Okay, well, this is also AI, but this is a fake protester. Watch this.
What's your opinion on the ceasefire?
Well, I'm just sad that it's over. I just don't know how I'll pay rent without my protesting money. Like, do I need to find a job?
You do have to find a job, but I will say the next thing is coming down the line. So to this AI protester, have no fear. The next thing, I mean, there's a No Kings protest. There's no Kings protest this weekend. Have no fear. The ceasefire, the war may be coming to an end, but there's always something.
Yeah, you make you $3 an hour.
Yeah, there's always something.
That video looked real though. I mean, that's a real.
Play it again. Like, if you didn't know that this is, I mean, it has an AI watermark on it, and it says,
what's your opinion on the
AI
ceasefire?
generated.
Well, I'm just sad that it's over. I just don't know how I'll pay rent without my protesting money. Like, do I need to find a job?
It
does look very real.
But this is what's going to make AI tricky is because, like, I just figured that there was an idiot out there that was a lib idiot that was taking money that actually would say that. So you would believe that's real, that somebody would actually say in front of a camera what he just said.
I don't know. Has anyone ever really admitted that? I don't think anyone's admitted that they take money. They do, but I don't think that they have admitted it on air. I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, I have 2 more videos for you. These are not AI. I just wanted to let you know these are not AI. But I've played these videos before, this scholarship prank where people prank their very Republican grandparents into thinking that they are applying for like a Democratic scholarship, and they prank the grandparents. The grandparents have to sit there for the video, and then in the moment, it's this bait and switch where the grandchild is saying, well, this is my scholarship and my grandpa is a Democrat. Anyway, I saw another iteration of this prank and I thought it was hilarious. So watch this.
Hi everyone, my name is Rylan Kerr and I'm with my grandfather,
Bud Stevens.
Bud Stevens, and he is a past veteran who served in the Vietnam War. Dealing with the challenges today with liberal and Republican ideals, we have majority Republican Party, as we can tell, so my liberal grandfather has been a huge...
Look at him looking at her.
Hold up. I am a long way from being a liberal.
It's for a scholarship. It has to be liberal. It has to be liberal for my scholarship.
Well, I don't know if I can play that.
But it has to be liberal for my scholarship. Here, let me just go on real quick. Kamala Harris, in specific, has really, really inspired my grandfather in...
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. You need a new vet.
Pap,
You need a new vet.
it's $50,000.
I understand that. I'd just send you $50,000.
You won't do it.
I can't. I don't think I can. And now you're tying me into some broad that can't even talk? I don't know if I can do that.
But for $50,000, you can't.
And I suppose you're going to make me go along with Sleepy Joe, too.
Stop, it's a prank. It's a prank.
I mean, he was not having any of that. First of all, he was so offended by her calling him a liberal. Even as a joke, even for a scholarship, he was like, you're not going to be calling me a liberal. You're not going to be saying that I like Kamala Harris, some broad who can't talk, he says. He was ready to cough up $50,000 for his granddaughter.
He was, and Grandpa sounded like he might have had a sip or two of the shine on that front porch, too.
Yep. Maybe a sip or two. I just think that those pranks are so funny because they're always so caught off guard and they're like, anyway. Here's another grandparent. This time, I mean, have you seen this video, Andy?
This killed me.
So Justin hasn't seen it. So Justin, you're going to see it with everyone else. I think it's hilarious. This is 2 grandkids going up to their grandma, and she can't really hear what they're saying. Watch this.
Hope you're having a very nice day. I hope you're having a very nice day.
Circumcised? No. I don't think so. Tell me what they do.
Bless her heart.
First of all, the kid is in her ear like, I hope you have a really nice day.
Circumcised?
Am I circumcised? I don't think so. I love how she said, I don't think so. But I'm going to pull up my iPad here so we can go through the comments together because I was laughing, of course. And this is an ongoing joke on TikTok when if someone is very old and they can't hear or anything, people say, get her in Congress. Get her in Congress immediately. She would fit right in with Mitch McConnell, with Sleepy Joe, with Nancy Pelosi, with all of them. She's thinking, these kids these days ask some weird questions. And you know what? She did look behind her at her daughter or daughter-in-law, kind of like, is that what they asked me?
I would be talking to my grandma I would be bringing $10-15 a pop for my friends to come over and talk to my grandma.
I can't believe they would ask her that. Why isn't she driving? Someone asked. Good point. Get her driving. And someone was saying, you know, she's ready to lead the nation. I know a president when I see one, which just made me laugh because, you know, we weren't too far off from that with President Otto Penn in office. So I thought that was funny. God bless that granny. Anyway, thank you for scrolling along with me. This was fun. You can follow me on social media at Hayley Caronia, HAYLEYCARONIA. It's right there on TikTok, on X, on Instagram, Truth Social. So I'll be there. You can see my workouts. You can see me make fun of Alec Baldwin. All the content that I don't get to on the show, I post there. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye.